Hello friends, welcome back to this series of Windows programming. And in the previous video, we discussed about the kernel objects and the basics of the kernel objects. And today we are going to discuss about one of the kernel objects, which is the event kernel object. Okay, so first I will let you understand about the event kernel object. I will let you know what is the event kernel object and how we use it and when we use it. So before we discuss about the event kernel object, let me tell you that these are of two types. One is the manual reset events and the other one is auto reset events kernel objects. Okay, so suppose I have to create one application where there are a number of threads and I want that all of those threads should be schedulable. We don't know which one because this will be decided by the uh, kernel memory. But we want that if there is a resource and we want that all of the threads waiting on an event kernel object should get scheduled at the same time, and whichsoever has been picked by the kernel memory or the kernel process, that should get the time slice to process further. So in that case, we will use the manual reset event object. So what does manual reset event object do? It schedules all the threads waiting on kernel object, waiting on event, right? So whatever event you have created, if you have created it as a manual reset event object, then in that case, if that particular manual reset event object has been signaled, I repeat, if that particular manual reset event object has been signaled, what does it mean by the signal? Signal means now the kernel object is available for use. Someone has not logged it. You can now proceed further. Okay. So manual reset event, what does it do? It schedules all the threads waiting on a particular event. And what about auto reset event object? It schedules only one of the threads waiting on event. Okay, suppose there was one resource, say the printer is the resource, and there are a number of threads which are waiting to print the contents. So in case of auto reset event, what will happen that once the event object is signaled, event kernel object is signaled, then in that case, only one of the threads, and that will be picked by the system itself, that which one, right? So only one of those threads will be signaled. Rest of the threads will not be signaled. So only one thread will be signaled that will do its printing, and then once it is done with the printing, it will again signal the event object so that it gets signaled for the next thread, right? So that way it works. So we will see that with the help of a few examples. But today I'm going to tell you the very basic thing about the event kernel object, and I will use the manual reset event object today because I have to show you that what is the practical use of event kernel object, in what scenario you can use the event kernel object. So in case of master slave process, I discussed in the previous video that there can be two processes. One is master and the other is slave, and we want that until the master is up, slave should not take any decision. It should not send any message to any client. It should not take any decision related to the database connections and fetching the data until the master is up, right? So what I'm doing here, I'm just going to create one of the process as the master process. Say this process is the master process, right? This one is the master process, and the other program, which is a slave process, I have already opened it because my system is miserably slow, and when I create the videos, it gives me a lot of pain. So that is why I already opened it. So this one will be the slave process, and another one will be the master process. So let me write some code related to the master process. So you just need to listen to me very carefully, and you need to see the code which I'm writing very carefully. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand this concept. And I repeat it again and again that these videos which are related to the kernel objects are the Windows concepts. you must need to revise them once, twice, thrice, or you even for the fourth time, right? So without that, it will not stuck in your mind. It should be imbibed in your mind, in your soul, so that you can become a programmer which can understand and which can and who can correctly use the kernel objects. Okay, so let me just explain you about the event kernel object with the help of a master and a slave process, right? You understood the requirement. There is a master process, there is a slave process, and until the master is up and running, slave should not do anything, right? So suppose I am going to create a handle here, h event, right? So here I am going to create an event object, create event, and I'm going to give the first argument as null, which is the security descriptor, which means that the default access rights will be given to this kernel object with respect to the user. With respect to this kernel object, the default security attributes will be applied, right? Suppose whatever rights I have on this system as of now, when I have logged into my system, the same rights will have to this event kernel object, right? The next argument is the whether the kernel object, or you can say the event kernel object, is a manual reset event object or a auto reset event object. So if I pass it true, then it means that I'm creating a manual reset event object, right? And if I pass it false, then it means that I'm creating a auto reset event object. And what is the initial state? Initially I want to set it false, right? Which means that this is not signaled. False means it is not signaled, this is not available for anyone to use, right? And then the next argument is the name of the event, evt1. Suppose I given the name evt1. Let me just make it text because it's a Unicode code. It's supporting the Unicode, so Unicode settings are there, so that's why I need to use this text macro. So this false, what does this false means? That this event kernel object is not signaled, this is not available for use. No one waiting, any thread waiting on this event kernel object will not be signaled until this event object, whichever I have created, will be set or explicitly signaled, right? So here, once you have called the create event, you need to do one more thing. Please remember this and please follow this practice. You need to call one more function, which is the get last error, right? And if you just need to see it, this code is very simple. Error is not equal to 0. 0 means success. Success means you are the first person who has created this kernel object, and error is not equal to error already exists. If these two are not the return values from the get last error, what does this mean? This value means that this kernel object is already existing and someone else has created it, but you have got a process relative handle, right? I already explained this. Without understanding the concept and without understanding the theory, which I have explained in previous two videos, you will not be able to understand the concept which I am implementing here, right? If you want to understand it correctly, you need to go through the previous two videos, which are only the theory portions, but you have to bear with me in those two videos because that theory is very much important for you to understand before you move ahead with the kernel object programming. Okay, so here what I will do, if these two are not the return values, then which means that something wrong has happened and system was not able to create the kernel object, right? And just exit from here. Not exit, just return exit failure. That's it. But if it is done, if it is okay that neither of these two error codes came, then it means that this event kernel object was created successfully for this process. And now what I need to do, I just need to do one more thing. Here I need to wait, do some stuff to start the server master, right? So suppose server is doing something, master is doing something for suppose 5 seconds. Suppose my server is waiting for 5 seconds to keep something up and running, to make something up and running. So I have just wrote a code here, sleep 5000, which is an indicator that my server is doing something. This is not the practice which is followed in the real world, right? Please note this, that this sleep is not followed in the real world. I'm just writing it here because this is just an indication that yes, my system is waiting for something to up for this master process. So let me just do one thing. After the sleep, I'm just going to make my event kernel object as signal, right? So set event, I have passed true. No, not true. It's the h event. I need to pass the handle, right? H event I have passed. So this, after these 5 seconds, this event object will be signaled, which means that any other thread or any other process which is waiting on this event kernel object will be signaled and will be able to move ahead. Okay, so now here write cout engl, press any key to exit, right? So this is my server process, and after this, once you press any key to exit, then in that case you need to do one more thing. You need to close the handle. Even if you don't close the handle, the system will close the handle for you once your program comes to an end. But this is the right practice you should follow, because there are some kernel objects which you need to create in your program time to time, and then you need to destroy them. Not destroy, basically you need to close the handle so that it doesn't leak. Okay, so this server is perfectly fine now, right? So let me just copy this code to the slave process as well. So here everything else is fine, but here I just need to do one more thing. Since I am a slave process, this code is for the slave process, so I am going to wait on the kernel object. So for the waiting, what you need to use, wait for single object. For waiting, you need to use the wait for single object, and you need to pass the h event, and you need to pass the infinite. You are waiting infinitely on this mutex on this event kernel object, so that the other process which is working on this should release it, and until that releases it, you will not move ahead. So if dw, if so, this wait function will wait until this set event will be called. Once this set event will be called, this wait for single object will move ahead. You will move ahead from this wait for single object, and if your dw is not equal to wait failed, which means that you have not failed on waiting, then in that case what will happen, you will simply write master is up and running, right? And then press any key to exit. So here what I will do, get char, this one I need to write here as well, get char, so that you press enter or any key, and then it will just close the handle. Okay, so better to place enter, or you can say press enter key to exit from master. And let's go to the next one, press enter key to exit from slave. Okay, so let me just come to here, all zeros. So this one is the master process, and that one is the slave process. So let me just put some breakpoints so that we can see something else, like I need to put, so that we can just understand the concept. Let me just place a breakpoint here, breakpoint, insert breakpoint. So I have inserted a breakpoint here, and same I will do with the slave process so that we can see. Okay, so in this and in this as well. So here let's start the master process. Just do the F5, Okay, so here H event, you can see that there is a B at the end. So this is representing an index in the process handle table. I already explained you in the previous video. And what is the error? Error is 0 because you are the first process which has created this, right? So you will get it 0. You will not get error already exists. So let's come here. You are sleeping here, right? So you will sleep here for some time, right? And then you will see set event here, right? So now we can just do something like this, and we can wait here for some to press some key here. And meanwhile, let's go to the slave process and let's see what it prints, what it gives us in the handle. It may be that you get the same index, but that index will be particular to the this slave process, not particular to the other process, right? You can see that here it has found some other address. This address is nothing but the index in the process handle table, right? So now what will happen, since your master process is already running, and that master process has already created the event kernel object, so what will happen in this case, you will not get 0, you will get 183, which is equal to the error already exists. So this is again fine. It means that this kernel object was created already, so it is not a problem, right? And now it will wait. Since your master process has already set the event, it has already made it available for you, so you are able to see this. So since the wait has not failed, so it will say that master is up and running because master was able to do this, right? So here it is done, and here your master is up and running. This will show this, and then this one, the slave process, this will go to this one, and it will ask you press enter to exit from the slave. So let me just press enter, and it will close it, and it will exit. Similarly, I will go here and I will just press something, and it will come to an end, right? So this will be done with this, and let me just do one more exercise. Just close this, just remove this breakpoint, disable this breakpoint, and here as well just okay. So in the slave as well the breakpoint has been disabled, and here as well I need to disable the breakpoint and I need to stop it. Okay, so in this scenario I started the master first, but in this second scenario what I'm going to do, I'm going to run the slave first. So this is my slave, so I'm just going to start it. Let me start it. So you can see that it will keep waiting. You will not be able to see anything here because it is waiting here. If you will put the breakpoint here, you will be able to see that this is waiting here and it will not move ahead, right? So you wait forever. It will keep waiting until you start your server process. So let me start the master process. So once the master process is started and once it is able to print this, press enter key to exit from master, then it means, see here, press enter key to exit the master. Since this has come, which means that set event has been done by the master, and that is why your slave is able to see that the event kernel object is available, and that is why it is printing master is up and running, and it is asking for you to press the enter key and exit from here, right? So that's it. Master is done, slave is done, right? So that's it guys, and in the next video I hope you have understood this, and this is very simple. If you understand it correctly, then it is very simple. If you are following the correct process to understand the kernel objects and Windows concepts, then it is very easy. Otherwise it is very tough. People don't understand it even after working for years. Okay, so just that's it for today, and just do the exercise by yourself to understand this concept until you will be able to you will be able to write the code yourself. You will not be able to understand it properly. So I will just copy and paste this code in the comment section, and you can just copy and paste on your own program and run it. Okay, so have a nice day. Bye bye guys.